Hi everybody. Sometimes there's a delay. I'm waiting. There's like a circle that seems like it's getting started, and I'm not sure if it is actually started. So that's why sometimes you see me sitting here waiting. Anyway, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We got, it's noon right now, so I will just keep talking. My name is Dr. Debbie Pates, and I am a psychologist at the UCCS Wellness Center, as most of you probably know already. It's June, it's got hot all of a sudden. I wait all year for it to be hot, and finally it is hot, so yay. Let's get started. Come on into child's pose. I'm going to talk for a minute here. If you, we're going to maybe use blocks and straps today if you have them. They'll be optional to use. My cats are jumping around. One just jumped in front. So child's pose. Settle down. Far ahead. On the mat. Beginning to breathe deeply. Beginning to breathe consciously. And if my cueing you to breathe in any way is upsetting, is triggering, then ignore it. And I want you to do the same with any cue, any suggestion, right? I'm going to take you through a flow today, and everything that I say, if it is simply a suggestion. It's not an order. It's not something that you have to do. It may not be right for you in general. It may not be right for you today. So please be sensitive to your own needs. Be mindful of what you need, your body, your mind, your spirit. And please don't only be mindful of it, be respectful of it. You know, sometimes we think something is a good idea. The other day I was at the gym and I started doing bicep curls, and it wasn't even, and it was a decently heavy weight. And this old injury in my arm started to hurt. So I said, let me drop down. And I used some very light weights, and it still didn't feel right. And I was really proud of myself because I listened to my body saying, don't do this. Don't do this today. Other days I am still able to do it. But if we push beyond our limits, beyond what's right for us today, then maybe we won't be able to do it in the future because we've created an injury. So please, hear what I say, but listen and respond to your own body, to what you need. So we're going to do a flow full of arm balances. Well, maybe not full of arm balances, but with a couple different arm balances and some leg balances. So do your best. Balancing is not about standing there like a statue without moving. Balancing is about experimenting and seeing. And maybe balancing is about allowing yourself to fall and learning how to recover with grace. From child's pose, push up onto your hands and knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And begin to take some cat-cow. So we'll warm up our backs. Really pushing up through your shoulder blades, round, pushing through your hands, rounding your shoulder blades on cat. Maybe exhaling on cat, and on cow, dropping your stomach, squeezing your shoulder blades together if that feels good to you. Just finding movement in your spine. You know, I mean, yoga is so full of movements that we really don't want to take for granted. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. Add here any movements that feel good to you, moving in circles. And we did a pretty epic bike ride last year, and we were talking about what we want to do this summer. And one of the things that we were talking about is respecting our limits And I was talking about, how yoga is so important for so many movements that we don't want to lose. Let's move through some of those right now. Walk your hands up a little bit and come on into high plank position. So right now in high plank position, have your hands underneath your shoulders, honoring the integrity of your joints, lining up your joints. Everybody's alignment is different, so I don't give tons of alignment cues, but some of the stuff is pretty basic to all of us. Heels pushing back if that feels good to you. You can always in plank have your knees on the ground, working the core. You still work the core with your knees on the ground, supporting not only your posture and your musculature, but your spinal column, your nervous system that is housed in that spinal column, right? So building the muscles that support these incredibly important parts of our nervous system. I know that we're holding plank right now. Okay, let's just lift your hips up. Come on into downward facing dog. Let your heels sink down toward the ground. Breathe. Palms flat. Neck relaxed. So part of what I try to do in my teaching is to modify a lot of the yoga shapes that we put our bodies in for a more modern body. So traditionally in Ashtanga yoga, which is one of the most traditional forms of yoga flow, vinyasa yoga, active yoga, in downward facing dog, the cue is to look at your navel. But if we try looking at your navel right now, my thought is when we text, when we drive, when we do a whole bunch of the stuff that we do, our neck is already in that position. And so maybe think about your neck here as an extension of your spine, which in fact it is, and elongate your neck. So sometimes for me, I think about bringing my biceps, my ears in between my biceps, and then allow the weight of my head to be a little bit of traction. Take a bunch of baby steps. Walk slowly to the top of your mat, allowing your feet to get a little bit of love, and come to ragdoll, standing forward fold at the top of your mat. Now your knees can be bent as much as they need to. There's no magic in having your hands on the floor. So maybe you want to bend your knees and have your hands on the floor. Maybe you want to bend your elbows and grab onto or tuck your hands into opposite elbow. And think about this movement. Think about putting on your shoes. Think about the pencil that you dropped and you bend down and you pick it up, right? So really committing to, I don't like the word committing to, honoring. How about this? Committing to honoring your physical self. Because this body that we are housed in is the only one that we're going to have in this lifetime. Let's not beat it up and wear it out faster than necessary. That doesn't mean don't push. We're going to have several opportunities to push today. But push and respect. Find that balance. So make a choice right now. What's better for you? Do you want your feet hip width distance? Or do you want your big toes touching and your outer edges of your feet parallel to the mat? And roll up to standing. For most people, soft knees is optimal for that. Roll up to standing. Let your head come up last. So maybe you get up and you roll your shoulders up and back and down, and you lift your chin and continue lifting your gaze and look up, lift your hands, bring your hands together over your head and draw your intention into your own heart. Let's go through some sun salutations. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Halfway lift, lengthen. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. And with a flat back, sweep your arms out, rise up. Bring your hands overhead together, warming up the shoulders, hands into your heart, and then again, arms up, overhead, forward fold, dive. Be aware, if you can, of what's moving in your body, hip joints, shoulder joints. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, fold down, sweep your arms up and out, rise, hands together overhead, hands into your heart, sweep your arms up, we'll move on, exhale, forward fold, halfway lift, lengthen up, and now put your hands down underneath your shoulders, step back, high plank position. Knees on or off the ground, your choice. Lower, halfway or all the way to the ground, chaturanga or laying on the floor. Upward facing dog or cobra, and then from underneath your navel, lift, 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 downward facing dog. So stay in down dog if you want. If you want to join me, right now, shift forward into plank. You can stay in plank with your knees on or off the ground, or lower to chaturanga. Come on to upward facing dog. And then we're going to do some of those lift from below your navel, come into down dog thingies. So keep your toenails on the ground and begin to lift your hips and push into your hands, sending yourself back into downward facing dog, really noticing. And when you get almost, you want to roll over your toes. Come on back. Sort of a high plank, but with your toenails on the ground. And then 2 more times. Lift from underneath your navel, coming into downward facing dog, almost. Come on back. And then 1 more time. This time lift, 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 and then when you want to roll over your toes, go on, come on into downward facing dog. Let's go through 2 sun A's. Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop. Top of your mat, halfway lift, lengthen your spine, including your neck, flat back. Forward fold, sweep your arms up. Rise, hands overhead. Bring your hands together and pull your energy into your heart. All right, 2 more. Hands up. Fold. Half lift. Make your way to downward facing dog. So high plank to low, or just lift your hips, go into down dog, and when you get to downward facing dog, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Look in between your hands, make your way to the top of your space, halfway lift, lengthen, forward fold, squeeze the breath out if that works for you. Inhale and rise. Let the inhale lift you up. Arms overhead, hands together, and complete that cycle, pulling your hands into your heart. 1 more sun A, arms up. Dive forward. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, step back, high plank. And make your way to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, take a couple of breaths, inhale and exhale. And lift your right leg up. Let your left heel continue to sink and open up your knee if that feels good to you. Maybe making big circles with the knee or smaller circles with the ankle. So noticing hip joints, ankle joints. Again, things we do not want to take for granted. And if you're feeling a lot of pressure in your wrists, maybe you come on down onto 1 or both forearms, elbows. We don't want to blow ourselves out here, right? Right leg down, left leg up as your right heel continues to sink. And the same thing, bend your knee, open up, make some circles, lubricating the joints, movement gets the synovial fluid going, and then bring your left leg back down and step through to the top of your space, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, sweep your arms up, rise, bring your hands together overhead, and complete that cycle, pulling your hands into your heart. It is hot here. Okay. go on in a second. Sorry, I gotta get my hair out of the way here. Whew. Okay, chair pose. Utkitasana. Bend your knees, maybe up to 90 degrees. But you know what? Like if you went on a long run, or you're resting because you have something coming up, or maybe you just don't want to go that far, or you do want to go that far. You make the choice. And then let's take a figure 4 balance here. Okay, so you're in Utkitasana. We're going to do a little bit different sun A. No, you know what? No, that is what I want to do, sorry. Figure 4 balance. I have a cheat sheet here. Take your right ankle and put it on top of your left knee and sink down. You can keep your arms lifting up. You can, if you didn't already, bring your hands in line with your heart, your arms in line with your heart, or you can bring your hands into prayer position at your heart. You can also bend forward here. We're going to come back to this figure 4. So right now, resist the arm balance if that's where you were trying to go, thinking about going. We're going to be back here. Lots of arm balances and standing balancing today. But right now, focus on balancing, on opening up your hip, right? Allowing your knee to move toward the ground. You can always grab onto your left calf. Think about elongating your spine as you're doing this. And then you guys gently stand up a little bit and step your right foot back to warrior 1. So you may not get there very neatly. So just step back and then adjust your stance. Bending into your left knee, reaching your arms up, warrior 1. Lifting from your rib cage as you sink in your lower body. And then open up, warrior 2. Warrior 2. Reaching your left arm forward, tracking over your left big toe, so your knee moving out, and then reach, reach, reach. Extended side angle. Left forearm on your left knee, or maybe left hand reaching toward the floor, maybe on the floor, right arm reaching up, and then reverse warrior. Left knee continues to move forward as your left hand moves back, and then windmill down. Step back, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Lift from your navel, downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop. Top of your space, halfway lift. Forward fold, Utkitasana. Chair pose, stand up, bring your hands together, bring your hands into your heart, and then right back, arms up, knees bend, chair, and this time left ankle on top of your right knee for a figure 4. And come on into it in whatever way you want. So first, find the balance. Don't hurry to make adjustments. Find the balance, and then maybe take a different hand position. I like to shift. I kind of sink more into my hips. I am working on a flat back. I like to bring my forearms to my shin and very gently use the pressure to coax my knee down. I'm not really pushing on the knee. It's more an opening in the hip here. And then get ready to engage and step back. Warrior 1. Right knee is bending. Left foot flat, maybe at a 90-degree angle. Maybe you're just trying to get the left edge of your foot parallel to the back of your mat. So again, we don't want to be dogmatic. Open up warrior 2, right? We don't want to say, I must have my foot at a 45-degree angle. We want to respect our bodies. Take care of your ankle more than you take care of your ego. Reach forward extended side angle. Rolling perhaps your right rib cage under, opening up through your heart. Reverse your warrior. Right knee forward, right arm back, right knee bending, left hand reaching down your left leg, and make your way down. Step back, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. Drop your elbows onto the ground, dolphin. You can walk your feet a little bit closer to your hands if you want. You could shift your your shoulders forward a little bit. Palms are flat. If you walk your feet forward, walk them back. And then using strength, push into your hands. Lift your elbows off the floor and welcome back to downward facing dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, Utkitasana. Stand up, bring your hands to your heart, together overhead, and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale your arms up. Utkitasana. Right ankle over your left knee, figure 4. Take whatever degree here you want. We're not moving too quickly, but we're not going to be here all that long, so get it while you can. Step back, warrior 1. Open, warrior 2. Reach, extended side angle. And this time, an extended side angle. Let your right hand drop behind your back. So maybe you slither your right fingertips onto the top of your left thigh and roll open your shoulder. Maybe you have the flexibility, or you want to try to take your right hand would be just on your low back, left arm underneath your left thigh, clasp your hands, and then again, try to roll open. Rolling open your chest to the side, rolling open your shoulder, and then release. If you're bound, come on back. Regular, extended side angle, reverse warrior, inhale, take it back, and windmill down. High plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, 2 downward facing dog. Inhale and down dog. Exhale and down dog. Another round. Inhale and exhale and down. Look in between your hands. Make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Chair pose, rise. All the way to standing, hands together. Hands into your heart. Arms up. Knees bend. Not automatically, you have to do it. Left ankle on top of your right knee. Figure 4. And take the arm position. So maybe noticing a little bit of muscle memory here. You might be able to do it. It'll drop better this time. And then step back. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Extended side angle. And take the arm balance. So maybe left, you could stay right here, yeah? Or left hand behind your back, maybe left fingertips slither onto the top of your right thigh, or right hand slides underneath your right leg, and you clasp, and you try to open. You try to open. Whichever one feels better for you today is the one I would suggest you take. Neither of these is right, neither of these is necessary. Release. Left arm back up, reverse warrior, and windmill down. Step back, high plank, lower chaturanga, up, dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, drop your elbows to the ground, forearm down dog, which is also called dolphin. And if you want this time, lift your right leg up in the air. You can maybe even play around with hopping a little bit. Right leg down, left leg up. Maybe play with hopping. And then back to down dog. Catch your breath if you were doing that hoppity hop stuff. And then look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Utkitasana. Stand up. Palms together overhead. And pull it into your heart. Before we move on, let's do if you have a block and or a strap, get it now. We'll take a teeny break here. I'll take a sip of my water, or just take a sip of your water, or just take a break. Please, you guys, it's like, what, 90 degrees here in Colorado Springs, so stay hydrated. Okay. So have your block ready to go at the top of your mat. But first, inhale your arms up and grab your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up and over, getting a side stretch. Think about coming up and then over. So maybe you even want to bring your right hand down by your side for a little bit of support. Or maybe you want to have your right hand on your right rib cage. Or maybe you want to steeple your hands. You choose. And then come on back up and switch. So maybe grab your right wrist with your left hand and think about length going up first. Always, in all the poses. Right? Length before depth. We're not looking to shorten, we're looking to lengthen. And then come on back up and release your hands down. Come to the top of your mat and shift your weight in, I'll do it this direction first. Doesn't matter, don't worry about this. Shift your weight into, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. The first two moves here so that you can put your block appropriately. We're going to come into airplane and then we're going to move into half moon. So maybe you want your block somewhere that when you move into half moon, it's going to be accessible to your right hand. So you may not want to use your block at all. But so keep your hands, roll your shoulders up, back, and down, palms facing forward. Shift your weight into your left foot. And then begin to just teeter into airplane. So you keep your torso and your leg in line as best as you can. So there's a lot of muscles here, right? Similar muscles to what we use in plank. We're also engaging more leg muscles. Reach, reach, reach your fingertips, your toes, the crown of your head. Maybe your arms are even above your body. Shoulders, a little bit of up dog in your upper body. So shoulders coming back. If your arms are lifting and your shoulders are really reaching, you might feel your tricep muscles and the backs of your arms working here. And then bring your hands into your heart. Pause. Pause with, you extend your back again, check out if you rounded, and then begin to do your best here, right? My foot keeps touching down, but then you just come back to the pose. Begin to bring your right hand down and your left arm up, opening into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Breathe. So this is certainly a balance, even with your hand on the block, or a water bottle or the floor. You feel the balance. But some people like to, in this half moon shape here, hover the hand above the floor. And then you guys step back gently as possible. Come to warrior two. Right knee is bent. Adjust your feet as needed. And then straighten out your right leg. Let's make our way into triangle. You can use the block in triangle as well. You might have it on the inside or outside of your right foot or shin. You don't need to. You can have your hand on your right shin or big toe or somewhere on your right thigh. Whatever works for you. Getting length, reaching space, and then rise back up. Turn your feet parallel, prasarita. Tee your arms out, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open up your chest, open up your heart, and bow forward. Maybe grab onto your big toes. Your feet are ideally here parallel, or even, if it's comfortable for you, pigeon-toed. And your legs are wide. So this is similar to a wide-legged, well, this is a wide-legged forward fold, similar to what we do a straddle on the floor. Maybe roll your weight evenly into your whole foot, so it's also in the ball of your foot, not just in the heel. And then with an inhale and a flat back, come on back all the way, prasarita, to standing. Arms out, rebend your right knee, flip your right palm, reverse warrior, and pause here a moment. Bending the knee forward as you lift from your hip crease. Opposite action, reaching your right arm back, and then windmill down. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. We're going to do something a little bit differently here, so bear with me. Step to the top of your space. Move your block to the side for now, and then halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose. Bring your hands together, bring your hands to your heart, and twist. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. So we're gonna play a little bit here. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to move into, you can always stay here, you guys, but we're going to move into side crow. So from here, actually unwind, be not in a twist. Put your hands down on the ground, bend your knees, come up onto your toes. And then try to get your shins parallel to the ground and come on up into a standing on your toes shape. Hands can be at your heart. Try to bring your knees together. And then gently let your knees drop to the ground. Keep your toes tucked. If this is unbearable to you, bring your hands forward onto the floor. Take some weight off. If you need more, begin to lean back. Keep your knees on the ground if you're leaning back. Opening up through your feet, through your knees, and then come on back. Come on up, knees off the ground. Come into hands, thighs parallel to the ground, hands at your heart center. And then begin to turn, bring your hands to the floor so imagine we're in that twist again, right? You can come into even, you can put your hands, your heels back down and come into the twist, right? Right elbow on the outside of your left knee. And then bend your knees a lot again. Bring your hands, we're coming into side crow. Bring your hands to the floor, underneath your shoulders. I'm off my mat here in chaturanga. You can have, you're gonna have your right elbow near your right knee. You can have your left elbow also on your, kind of by your left butt, or it's easier for me to do a little bit of hovering. And then look up and begin to shift your weight and lift your feet so that you're balancing on your hands. And then maybe you bring your top leg back and your bottom leg forward. Whatever you're doing, breathe. And then when you're ready, release. Put your hands inside in a chaturanga pose, because guess what? High plank to low plank, upward facing dog, 2, downward facing dog. Put your elbows on the ground. If you want, come into dolphin. If you want,
do some kicking, maybe even trying to come into forearm balance here. Let's play, just play. When you're ready, come on back to downward facing dog. If you're enjoying the forearm balance, sometimes I stick it. I don't want to stop, so if you're there, then stay there. But if you're ready, come on back to the top of your mat from downward facing dog. Halfway lift, forward fold, sweep your arms all the way up, rise with a flat back, bring your hands together, and bring your hands to your heart. Woo, that was fun. I think my hair looks silly. It looks like I have a little thingy sticking up, but anyway, this will just be on the internet for posterity. Who cares? Okay, other side. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Position your block for half moon. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and begin to shift your weight into your left foot. And with your arms staying tight to your body, begin to make your way toward a T shape. Coming into airplane. Leg muscles, core muscles, everything pretty much, right? It's a really active shape for our bodies. And then bring your hands to your heart. Open up into half moon. Left arm reaches down, and right arm reaches up. You want to be opening to the side wall. Maybe if you find the balance, you can even allow your chest to open. Challenging your balance here, you can even look up if you want. I find that really difficult. And then come on, warrior two. Step back, adjust your feet, no hurry. Straighten your left knee, reach forward, triangle. Left arm is down, maybe on your block. Right arm is reaching up, crown of your head reaching forward, hips reaching back, almost as if somebody were pulling your hips back and your head forward, giving yourself traction. Come on up. Prasarita again. Turn your feet parallel or pigeon-toed. Tee out your arms. You want your feet wide. Squeeze, interlace your hands behind your back, and now squeeze your shoulder blades together and bow, letting your arms come off your back to whatever degree works for you. Maybe again, letting the weight come into the balls of your feet. Think about in here, in this shape, you can, if you engage your quadriceps, the muscles in the fronts of your legs, and engage your core, your whole body, your stomach, not your core, because your core is your back. Your front body is saying, hey, back body, I got this. And it allows your back body to release a little bit more. And now engage, come on up. Warrior two to the front of the mat. Flip your left palm. Bring your right hand to your right leg, reverse warrior. Lifting from your left hip all through the left side of your body. Left knee is reaching down, bending, and windmill. Get your block out of your way. High plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. To downward facing dog. Look. Take down dog for a minute. Let's breathe. Okay. Make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Bend your knees. Utkitasana, chair. Bring your hands together at your heart and twist. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. So first we're finding the twist. We're going to move into that other arm balance. But right now we're just twisting. We're just twisting. Get it while you can. And let's do the same thing we did on the other side. Unwind. Come up into toe balancing pose. Won't stay as long this time. Toes pose. Drop your knees. Try to keep your heels from splaying out too much here, but you also want your pinky toes tucked, so it's a little bit tricky, at least for my feet. I don't know, maybe give them the length of my toes or whatever. Come on back to toe balancing. Bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee, so we're twisting. Palms down on the floor. Look up and shift your weight forward. Lift your feet off the ground. Maybe right, it would be your bottom foot comes forward and your left foot goes back. Do your best. It's all you can do, right? And then release and make your way to high plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog, and drop your knees. Child's pose. Hello. Woo. That was a good, strong sequence, you guys, so you made it. Couple breaths in down dog, because I got one more thing for you here. And then, I meant in child's pose. Okay, so now come up. Down dog. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space. Maybe you just want to take a whole bunch of steps because you're tired. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And if you have a strap, maybe take that and keep it close by. And roll up to standing. Make your way to standing. Get to standing however you want. I don't really care. Okay, we're standing. Inhale your arms up. Figure four. So here's another chance for that arm balance. Bring your right ankle to the top of your left knee. Chair pose, right ankle to the top of your left knee. And come into the figure four. So you can stay here. You can bring your hands to your heart. You could bring your forearms to your shin, or maybe you can also grab onto your left shin. You can also put your hands on a block if you have one, or if you want to do the arm balance, Ekapada Galavasana, bring your hands to the floor, chaturanga position, so underneath your shoulders. And shift your weight onto your shin. Really grab the back of your really grab the back of your left tricep with your right hand. And begin to shift your weight, lift your left toes off the ground. And maybe you straighten your left leg. Breathe. And then release. Come on back up to the figure four balance. So if you need to put your foot down and unwind, go ahead and do that. And then stand up, straighten your left leg, and bring your right foot to tree. So instead of your right foot crossing your left knee, your right foot is somewhere on your left leg. So we're going to move from here. I should have cued this earlier, but I didn't think this through that well anyway. Anyway, if you want to use forget the strap. What I want you guys to do is, from tree, bring your knee forward in front of you and squeeze it in. Maybe grab onto your right big toe with a straight spine, and then begin to straighten your leg out in front of you. This is where you could use the strap. Or you can always grab onto your knee. And then begin to bring your right leg out to the right. Left arm out to the left. Look to the left. Bring everything back to center. Straighten your leg for one moment. Try to resist leaning back. And then, right leg down, sorry. Chair pose. Left ankle on top of right knee. So figure 4 coming into the arm balance. If you want, optional arm balance. Everything that we do is optional. But if you want to do the arm balance, you bring the backs of your arms onto your left shin. Really grab onto the back of your right arm with your left foot there. Palms flat, so you bend your right knee pretty deeply. Look up. Begin to lift up your right leg to whatever degree works for you. And keep breathing, breathing, breathing. And then you guys let go of it. Come on back to the figure 4. Stand up, straighten your right knee, and come on into tree. So bring your left foot rather, somewhere onto your right leg. Tree pose. Bring your left knee forward, squeeze it in. Maybe you grab to your left toes, maybe you keep hold of your left knee. And as best as you can, you straighten your left leg forward. And then begin to bring your left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right. You might look right. This is a shape I used to be able to grab my toe in and I can't anymore. What are you gonna do? Come on back center, lift your arms up, straighten your left leg, and then left foot down and dive forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, forward fold, and just step back into downward facing dog. Drop your right knee. Spin your left foot flat. Lift your left arm up. Modified side plank. If you want, you can lift your left leg up, bend your left knee, grab onto your left foot. And as you kick into your foot, you get a back bend, you get a shoulder opening, you get a left thigh stretch. And then release. Come into hands and knees. And just switch. Lengthen out your right leg. Spin your right foot flat and lift your left arm. No, wait, that was, lift your right arm, sorry. Lift your right arm and your right foot is stretched out. And then maybe lift your right leg off the ground, bend your right knee and grab your foot. Kick, open, breathe, always breathing. And then release. Down dog again, just step into it. And without further ado, lift your right leg up. Bend your knee and bring it through. Low lunge, don't worry, don't panic. Hands inside your right foot, drop your left knee. Runner's lunge, toe heel your right foot up toward the top corner of your mat. And come down to whatever degree. We're not getting up anymore, guys. Breathe, breathe into your hips. You can take another twist here if you want. Another twist slash quad stretch. You'd come up, bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand. And pull your left foot in, roll open. Come onto the pinky edge of your right foot if you want. Try to open your shoulder here. And then release. And let's turn this into pigeon. So toe heel your right foot over to the left side. Walk your left knee back a bit. And come on down. We'll rest for a few breaths. In fact, let's do a 2 minute timer here. So we're already into it a little bit. Your hips. Honoring your body, taking care of your body. Really thinking about these are emotions I don't want to lose. And it's nice to push yourself, right? It's good to feel fit, to feel strong, to feel capable of doing the things that you want to do, to take care of your body so that your body gets you through the day. But we need to find that balance, no pun intended. We need to find that sweet spot between taking care of and pushing too hard. Pushing enough and not too much. "30 more seconds here." Start to lift up your body. Before we go to the other side, we're going to take a little extra. We'll take a back bend. So step back to high plank and lower all the way to the ground. Bend your knees. Going into bow. Bend your knees and grab your feet from the outside. And begin to kick. Kick again. And when you kick, lift everything. Whatever you can. You can rock with your breath. Maybe you can. You can do whatever you want here. And then when you're ready, release. Hands under your shoulders. Just push straight up into high plank. Lift your hips into down dog. Down dog is a nice counter pose, 2 back bends, and then lift your left leg up, step it through, low lunge, hands inside your left foot, scoot your left foot up, drop to whatever you need to, drop your right knee, runner's lunge. Take a few breaths. If you want to do that twist, we'll get to that in a sec, but take a few breaths first in runner's lunge. My thumbs. You could do that with your 2 fists or a block, or you can keep your head lifted. In Anusara yoga, which kind of got discredited, they used to talk about kind of making a double chin as if you're pushing through the crown, the back of your head toward the ceiling. If you want to take the twist, come up on your hands. You might scoot your left foot closer to your body a little bit. Bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand, and open up. Go over your left shoulder. Breathe. Slowing it down. And then release. And pigeon. Left foot over to the right side of your body. Maybe your right knee comes back a little bit. And 2 minutes here in pigeon. Slowing down, softening. Let your head rest, maybe on the floor, maybe on your hands or fists stacked. Slowing down. Letting the breath even out. And you know, yoga, some of what's so profound about yoga is this journey that we go through. So be aware, this was a really different kind of class than what I usually teach. I mean, there's a lot of similar elements, right? But be aware of how it's showing up for you. How did you talk to yourself? We're 1 minute through a 2-minute hold of pigeon here. How did you talk to yourself? Were you encouraging? Were you mean? Were you curious? Were you giving up? Just notice, right? Because the way we are to ourselves on the mat is generally reflective of how we are to ourselves off the mat. And so the beauty of yoga, in addition to taking care of our bodies, remaining flexible or getting flexible in our joints, our muscles, our ligaments, is also becoming aware of how we treat ourselves. Begin to bring your body up. And you can come into downward facing dog if you want, or just sit over on your left hip and swing your legs around. Roll down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rock and roll a little bit left to right. And then put your hands on the floor. We're going to come into plow. So make sure you've got enough space. Put your hands flat on the floor by your hips, and using some momentum, bring your feet up and overhead toward the floor, maybe onto the floor. Hands stay on your back. Actually, if your feet are on the ground, then that's helping support your back. So you can clasp your hands and straighten your elbows. Bring your hands onto your back and lift your legs up. Let your weight sink. Shoulder stand. Weight sinks into your hands. So your palms are on your low back maybe, maybe a little higher. Your fingertips are pointing up, so toward your butt here. And try to find stillness. Try to resist. Make all kinds of movements with your feet. I talked about Ashtanga yoga earlier, and Ashtanga, this is held for a very long time. And so you might see in an Ashtanga practice, or maybe you could get a book that takes you through the practice. There's different variations with your feet. But first, this one, with your feet just sticking up, is held for a long time. Bring your feet now back to plow, overhead, palms on the floor, and roll out. Let your feet come all the way down to the ground, and then hug your right knee into your chest. Spinal twist. Right knee across your chest, tee out your right arm. Or across your body. Look to the right. Release. Hug both knees in, and then let your left knee stay in as your right leg goes long. Right knee across your body. Left knee across your body. To your left arm out. Look left. Come on back center, hug both knees in if you want, and then release into Shavasana. Laying on the ground. Let it go. If you feel tweaky ever in Shavasana in your low back, you can always bend your knees and put your feet flat on the ground. Sometimes that feels better for people. And just let it go. Let your body relax onto the floor. So maybe life is about finding balance. Maybe life is all about finding balance. Balance of doing enough, but not doing too much. Pushing while respecting. Challenging, but not straining. Well, I mean, sometimes things are hard. But hard can be approached in a gentle way. Challenge can be approached in a gentle way. I talk to people all the time who basically make excuses for being mean to themselves. Oh, you're so stupid, or you're so weak. And they think that that's motivating, but I just think that's being mean. We do our best. And think about that. I'm doing my best. Think about those words. If you are really doing your best,
how can you possibly ask more of yourself? Begin to think about what makes you grateful. Begin to think about things for which you are grateful. Perhaps it's warm weather, or perhaps it's shade when the weather's warm. Maybe gratitude for the rain we've been experiencing in Colorado that has created this gorgeous green. Gratitude for whatever you feel grateful for. I'm going to leave you in Shavasana. It's 1 o'clock right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this practice today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Namaste.